Friends and loyal subjects of Elrang, welcome to Crusader Kings III. Welcome to a directorial nightmare, because I'm going to attempt to live commentate an Adobe Premiere timeline of the timelapse as it's happening. However, there was, unfortunately, some problems with this, as you will see. The total timelapse, though I was aiming for 189 years, only ran for 166. It took me 2 hours and 17 minutes to get not ultimately a lot of progress. And as it progresses on, I've already edited up to the points that are worth pointing out. You'll see that things didn't really go to plan, but this first part is the time-lapse working basically as intended, right? You see the mighty Imperium Saliashe there grabbing some key provinces down over by Leowin, moving into elsewhere, moving over into Blackmarsh, and up towards Skyrim too. You notice they've moved right up through Falkreath, which I was super impressed by, and when I was first seeing this, I thought to myself, wow, holy shit, maybe we're in for some great expansion. And of note as well, House Drez there, moving all the way down into Blackmarsh, taking a load of Argonian land, and then everything kind of stalled. The Empire didn't really seem to be expanding its borders anymore. Things started to go a lot smaller. You see the occasional pickup of a few territories here and there. You see they've expanded a little bit further east into elsewhere. They're moving up round towards Whiterun at that very northern point, and actually moving over towards the Reach. If you look near where Orsinium is, bizarrely enough, that seems to have formed. And then at this point, we had our first major stop point. This was when it first began to hang. So clearly some massive event has occurred in the background here, and the game just couldn't handle it. I came back to my PC, and it was stuck on the 19th of Frostfall, 882. To be fair, though, it ran for 153 years. That took it 1 hour and 51 minutes to get up to this stage. And I will admit, I was a little disappointed. We didn't pick up nearly as much land as I was hoping for. We've expanded a little bit on the borders, again, up towards Skyrim around. So I thought, look, I've got to try it again, right? Let's reboot. Let's get back in there. Let's see what happens. So we're going. And I'm not seeing any changes again. And I do think that maybe there must have been an event that's popped up. Something that has clearly limited expansion. Because if you look, it's not just Elrang's empire. It's basically everybody has stopped expanding. So clearly something went slightly wrong, and then suddenly, the world falls apart. And actually, I was sat at my desk looking at this as it was happening. So none of what you're watching now is edited. This isn't slow-mo or anything. This isn't time-lapse. This is me reacting. This terrible frame rate, the slowness in game, is happening live. Well, or at least was for me at the time, unedited. You might notice there, I try and pause the game and stop it, and nothing happens. So I thought, you know what, we'll try it one last time. Reboot, get back in. They grab a few more provinces here and there, but again, something has clearly stalled the whole thing. And then on the 11th of First Seed, it stops for good. And I mean for good this time. Loading back in, because of course we're reloading to the autosave, because I couldn't even save it and move out from this point. It had just totally crashed effectively. I tried pausing the game. I tried going back into it, going back from what will be, as we load in here in a second, the 1st of January, 895, and then it just crashed repeatedly at this particular date. So something happens on the 11th of First Seed, perhaps some sort of Kime event or something like that. I'm not entirely sure, but we're gonna go into game now. We're gonna load in and see what happens. Is Elrang still on the throne? I don't know. But I presume if we hit the continue button on what would be the last autosave for the timelapse, so again, maybe it was a monthly autosave I had set up. I think it was 6th monthly, though. So this will be, again, January 895 in theory. Yeah, there you go. First Morning Star, 895. How should we do it, then? Shall we just click on... My God. He's actually still alive. He's actually still alive. I mean, it's been 188 years. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, every time-lapse I've done in CK2, and again, I wanted to run this one for a lot longer, but unfortunately, the game completely disagreed with that. Every time-lapse I've ran with CK2 with some immortal godlike character, they were always dead within the first 6 months. The fact that Elrang has lived 188 years? Let's dive in and see what chaos is unfurling. I can't help but notice... Okay, there's a few things of note here immediately catching my eye. First things first, he's sat on 426,000 gold, which is pretty damn impressive. He seems to have some sort of a war inside one of his kingdoms, so Coral is in the middle of a civil war. Elrang himself, though, is sat in total, utter peace. And again, look at that, how stressed. The only thing that really happened out there in the world that was worth noting was them expanding their borders. And you might see that things look a lot more crispy than usual. That was intentional to avoid any more of those enormous black squares appearing in games. So I'm not going to risk changing it back just for this, because I worry things may fall apart. Whoa. Okay, and you know what's more impressive? Orsinium formed, which is really bizarre. An independent orc kingdom led by this tiny child. How bizarre. Let's have a look then. Should we have a look at the man himself? And the other thing I noticed there, 68 lifestyle points. I presume he finished every single tree then? Yes, he absolutely did. My God, he didn't finish. Okay, so we finished diplomacy, finished martial. Bear in mind, we weren't much further through the plunder tree. We didn't even start gallant. So Elrang really has applied himself quite well there. 23 learning perks, 40 intrigue perks, and interestingly, playing the character, the man clearly got the memo, didn't spend any points in Seducer, because of course that wasn't him. He's loyal. Why would he ever do that? Good AI logic, clearly. Okay, well, let's have a look. Is he still married to Marinora? Are Velsilmasil and Reckless still alive? My God. He is not married to Marinora, but Reckless and Velsilmasil are still alive. Staggering. He's got 45 arcane, 63 prowess, 85 learning, 54 intrigue, 19 stewardship, 27 martial, and 41 diplomacy. He has a levy size of 307,000. Not that's massively relevant in CK3. He has he hasn't revoked any titles. His titles actually haven't really changed at all. He has given some titles away, and he's actually picked up new titles elsewhere. We'll have a look at his personal domain in a second. We've got to answer the question. Who's he married to? Empress Consort Wynaldia. Wynaldia Elfboy. Some very, very distant relative. In fact, she's a bastard of House Elfboy. What happened to Marinora? Let's have a look here. There she is. She was murdered. This is an Elrang moment. She was murdered by Wynaldia, Elrang's new wife. Oh my God. This is so... I can't even begin to describe how incredibly appropriate for everything I've established that this realm has been about. This kind of meritocracy. Proving that you are the best person for the job has always been the most important part of this. And she has proven herself, and the fact that the AI has done this automatically is borderline mind-blowing to me. Elrang's wife was murdered, and Elrang, out of what I can only describe as pure respect for a fucking power play from Wynaldia, married her. Honorable Ravener. And Elrang, someone pointed out, Elrang was like a heartless Ravener or something like that. That is actually amazing. He didn't have any more children, I presume. Whose man is this? Your son and vassal? Excuse me? I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's the case at all. He's a cute divine blood. Elrang had another son? I was going to say, whose man is this? Oh, this is his grandson. How has this happened? How are you Elrang's grandson? Oh my God, he had 2 more sons. No, he's had way more kids than I anticipated. Hang on, let's go back to Elrang. So his last daughter that we left off with was Thalin, with Marinora, his previous wife. Then he had Prince Cyrodiil and Prince Yagani. Are you telling me Elrang's been able to have kids all along? Cannot have children. I think this is a damn lie. I think she's given Elrang 2 bastard children, and he's just rolled with it. Or maybe there is some level of magic that clearly I'm not familiar with. I don't think they are Elrang's children, because look, the only thing they've inherited from him is Comely. I'm not sure that this is... I think she's given him 2 bastard children. But there we go. That's just how these things go, isn't it? It's very, very Middle Ages. Very, very medieval inspired. Wow. Okay. Bizarre. So this kid who's potentially not even an elf boy is, by blood, by dynasty, and actually by merit, is good enough. Whoa, this is very bizarre. Okay. Well, strange. Well, let's have a look at the realm then, I guess. I'm a little bit in awe. What has he got there? Follower. Oh, he's devoted to himself to Finaster and Mehrunes Dagon, which is nice. Champion of Namira. How did you do that? Raider. How did he become the champion of Namira, the Lady of Decay? I mean, that's incredible. How did you do that? Even I don't know how you've done. Like, we didn't do anything that cool. He's got Tickle Britch. Everybody seems to have venereal diseases. Maybe they are Elrang's sons. Is the whole realm afflicted by... It seems as if the whole realm has been swept by venereal disease. What the fuck has happened? Elrang's wife has it. Elrang has it. Both of his daughters have it. Their children have it. How has this happened? We've been blessed or maybe cursed by Periite for everybody to have venereal diseases. Elrang's got it twice. Can be inherited. Oh my god. What a nightmare situation. It's like the Thracian Plague. Except it's the Asian Plague. Thank you. Best joke of the series, and I made it in the final episode. Thank you. Thank you. No, please, hold your applause. It gets better. Wow, this is nuts. I cannot believe he became the champion of Mirror, Lady of Decay, and he is a lich man. That is so cool. I'm in awe. I'm a little bit in awe. We've got to check his artifacts then, right? Because what the hell has this man been up to since we looked away? His weapon is King Braille's dagger, whoever the hell that is. Owned by King Braille of the... He killed a man and took his dagger. He still has the Mace of Molag Bal. Wait, it's called the Victorious Mace of Molag Bal of Pain of the Lion. Holy shit, Elrang, what have you been doing? Look at this. Having been used in at least 50 victories on the battlefield, this weapon is renowned for always bringing victory to its owner. Having been used for at least 30 victories on the battlefield, the weapon is renowned for bringing pain to its enemies. Elrang was leading his own armies with the Mace of Molag Bal and absolutely slaying with it. He got a crown. Oh, he did what I could not and made a legendary crown for himself, which is fair enough. His armor, he's wearing the flexible scale armor of grace. We'll put him back in the Lord's Mail because I think it's iconic. Evil's Regalia, still there, the original, of course. His trinkets, he has the Ring of Namira, the Emerald Gold Necklace, the Gold Sapphire Ring, and Elrang's Brooch. He's been upgrading all of his artifacts, clearly. Do we still have the delicious face of Finaster? Because it looks as if a lot of these artifacts have fallen into repair. Oh my god, he has so few artifacts. Elrang, what have you been doing? He still has Death Dealer's feet, but he's lost a lot of his stuff. Maybe he just swapped it all out. Maybe he's like so dedicated to Namira he didn't need any other trinkets. He lost the skeleton key, or maybe it's more likely he used the skeleton key, huh? We'll have a look at the throne room in a second and see what we've got going on. Actually, if we go Royal Court here. Ruby Throne, good. Benudi's Skull, Saliashe Goblet. He's got 2 goblets there instead. Okay. Zabdi's Jewelry Casket. He's still got the Notorious Bear. He's still got the Green Aegis. Skull of the Renowned of Kavala. Okay, magnificent tapestry. The Elf Boy tapestry is very nice. Emperor Elrang's medical manuscripts. What have you been doing? Emperor Elrang's Guide to the Esoteric. And then he's made some lovely tables. Oh, this is so nice. Well, let's have a look at the court, see what it actually looks like here. Oh, wow. He's just got a bunch of blind, disease-ridden courtiers. So bizarre. I'm actually a little bit in awe that Velsilmasil, Silmarsil, and Loreclus have survived. That's so damn cool. Now let's have a look then. So the Elf Boy Dynasty, legendary, and that's almost certainly a side effect of where we've landed all of those kings. And I'll have a look and see how many of the liches survived, because I can't imagine the AI was dishing out lichdom. I imagine there isn't any logic for it to do that. So any of the kings that are still... the kings and queens that are liches are the ones that Elrang himself established. I imagine not many of them have survived. This is bizarre. So the Elf Boy Dynasty, then let's have a quick look at that one. How did that work out, eh? House Modifier, Witch's Coven, that's fun. We'll look at the Dynasty tree. What did he spend all those... Oh my god, if it even loads. Oh shit, no, sorry, I meant to look at the legacies. I've clicked Dynasty tree. Now, you may have noted, the Elf Boy Dynasty has 3,000 living members. What I've done here is crash the game. There's no way that's going to load. There is absolutely no way that's going to load. 3,000 living members. I am in awe. I'll give it a moment. But I think this may be a reboot, rather sadly. Oh my god. I want to see the legacies. Actually, we can see his legacies there. So he's gone 5 into magic, 1 into diplomacy, all into intrigue. That's interesting. All into blood as well, giving them the plus 80 year or the octogenarian, which I'm not really sure how that works with elves. You presume it wouldn't. I don't think this is ever going to load. I mean, it was having trouble loading when we only had 300 members, let alone 3,000 members. So I'm going to go for a reboot here. Oh wait, I do want to try and have a look at the Dynasty legacies then, see what he went for. Allows 1 additional permanent ritual. Unlocks the arcane court type, because we already had that. He finished off the Guile tree, which is super interesting because we didn't really do a huge amount with that, if I remember. Major chance to prevent 1 murder scheme against each Dynasty member. Oh my god, maybe where his wife Mira was murdered, he vowed that it would never happen again. He's such a nice guy. He's such a lovely man. Bloody hell, that music's loud. I mean, it's appropriate. And let him cook. It's appropriate. Wow. What a realm. What a guy. What else do we want to look at here is probably a better question. What the hell have you picked up in terms of titles then? So, look at this. Jarl Lyris of Falkreath. Okay, now that's too loud. Oh, you're being ridiculous now. Come on. Let's turn that... Shut up a second. Right, Jarl Lyris of Falkreath has been added in. That's cool. You got the whole of Falkreath there. We started to grab a little bit of Hammerfell. That's interesting. And we didn't really expand it too far. We started to go to the Reach as well, reaching up towards Markarth itself. Very cool. Again, all of Falkreath is under his control. So clearly using that Kingdom Caster's Belli. What about down in Elsewhere then? How did that end up? Yeah, so all of Alabaster too. So a couple of uses of the Kingdom Caster's Belli, the Kingdom Conquest, but didn't really go too far with it. You know, I really did expect him to be a bit more bloodthirsty than this. Got such bad hiccups. My god, it's the excitement. What can I say? I mean, look at this place. Wow. So as for the Imperial Isle then, let's have a look at his personally held realm. Oh, even that was a little bit slow there. So we kept the White Gold Tower, we kept the Arancel, Fort Legion, Port Hestra, Waterfront, Rumair's Light. Fair enough, I can't argue with that one. Didn't keep any of the sub-holdings inside the Imperial City, but, you know, that's fine. That's totally acceptable. So what has he kept here? River Keep? Bloody hell is River Keep? Oh, God, the game is so slow. Oh, clearly some recently conquested stuff. Oh, he kept all the stuff in Elsewhere personally. Some sort of holiday home, perhaps. Interesting. Wow, I don't really know what else to look at that's not going to crash the game, to be honest with you. You know what we can do? Let's have a look at the religion map mode. Unsurprisingly, solid Goromalatu. Not really much of a shocker there at all, is it, huh? Is there anything weird happening there? Tribunal Temple going all the way down into... oh my god, look, Sanguine Worship in the west part of Blackmarsh, and then whatever the hell that is, Cantamiric Sect. Oh my god, it's Velothi. Wow. So they really have pressed all the way down. And is Thorn a... so Thorn is a Dunmer. Oh my god, it's all like Dunmer kingdoms. All of Argonia has just been swallowed up. Archon is Dunmer. That's crazy. Ascadia has formed. This is so bizarre. Let's have a look at the culture map mode then. And unsurprisingly, Saliashe didn't actually spread at all. And really, we haven't suffered for it. I'm glad I stuck to my guns on that when I didn't try the conversion. It spread out of Anvil, a very small amount. Of course, we converted Anvil so that we can make it our capital. And clearly the Duchess spread things out of there too. But yeah, no, in terms of the Imperial Isle, it's just our culture. What about, wait, adopt AYLEID as a court language. What the hell's our court language then? That's interesting. We'll have a look at that in a second. As for innovations, of course, they've absolutely knocked it out of the park there. And I presume if we go to development, yep, we are still absolutely blistering ahead. Whoa, to be fair, Daggerfall really did start to catch up. That's kind of impressive. Alanor not doing too bad either. 100 development. Can we have a look at their innovations and see how they're doing? Hello. Let's go for Alanori. Innovations. Yeah, I mean, they've also done super well. To be fair, it's been quite a while. You know, it's been a long time since we've reached this era. When does this start? Can we find out? I don't remember when it started, but yeah, no, we've been here for quite some time, clearly. Wow. Yeah, so no, our culture is still absolutely in the lead, and our religion is completely swallowed up. I mean, look, even the places that they've clearly recently conquered, there was me saying the Imperial cult wouldn't survive. I didn't really expect it to move to elsewhere. Moving up in towards elsewhere from that place we've conquered, it's all the way up through Falkreath, going up to the Reach as well. That's absolutely nuts that the religion spread that far. I thought the religion would be fairly weak. And what's even more impressive, Malada has somehow survived. Our original religion on the Imperial Isle, and then you got Dawncourt, which was the, one of the Imperial... Oh, no, it's Akaviri. Whoa, that's even more impressive. Shit, that's insane. And as for court languages, AYLEID Art's still active. Everywhere speaks Altmeri, which is really bizarre. Just like an Aldmer cultural victory. You got Dunmeri and Altmeri. Everywhere speaks that, except for a few places who speak Nordic. And then I wonder if Elrang made, or maybe Alinor made it the lingua tamrialis. For some reason, he's a moron. He took out a loan. Why did you take out a loan? What were you thinking? No, the lingua tamrialis hasn't been established. Oh, he speaks Altmeri as his court language. Oh. He speaks AYLEID, Bosmeri, Cyrodiil, Altmeri, Daedric, Tagara, Dunmeri, Nordic, and Velothi. Well, we learned all of those. He didn't learn any new languages. That's bizarre that everywhere just adopted Altmer. Really, really strange. Well, I feel like I have to restore some balance here, and we have to say, no. Go back to Saliashe. Much better. Thank you. You've changed your court language. Absolutely we have. Not that it matters, because AYLEID and Altmer are effectively dialects of Aldmer anyway, right? So they're pretty much the same bloody language as it is. That's nuts. That's totally insane. I don't think there's much else I can get from this map. However, I will happily upload this. Bear in mind, you'll probably need the total mod list that I've got. Bear in mind, you will need to download the version of Elder Kings I'm using from Nexus Mods if you do want to load in. I'm happy to put the save up, though. If you've been playing from, you know, the same start as I have, or when I started this series, you should be able to load in pretty much fine, right? But yeah, no, all the mods are available in the description, so if you do want to load in and have a look around and kind of poke around here, please do. Some people asked if, you know, if at this point of the game we could jump back in and start playing as, say... Oh my god. I can't... Wait, are you one of Elrang's descendants? Maybe she actually is. Your great-granddaughter. My god, she is. That's impressive. Even, like, this was our starting province, right? Renthia, so that's kind of cool. What was I about to say? Oh, right. Somebody asked if, you know, we jump to here and then we play as a random character somewhere in the world. The world that has Elrang in it. But I think as I've kind of demonstrated, unfortunately, this is definitely true of CK2, and I can only presume it also applies to CK3. The longer Paradox games go on for, the less stable they become. I'm sure you've seen it in Stellaris, and I imagine the same is true, even though I've never played them. Hearts of Iron EU4, probably the same story. Unfortunately, I think the time-lapse is very much illustrated as well, but jumping in now would be a very slow and potentially broken experience. To be honest, I'm quite excited to just play this in my own time. I'm quite excited to update my game version as well, try out some of the submods and see what's going on with that. That would be a lot of fun. And I want to take a break from doing 2 episodes down the main channel because I've got some very busy stuff in real life coming up again. So there's lots of reason why I'm not going to carry on, but I'm more than happy to put the save out there to let you have a look here. And honestly, you know what? It really is quite cool that for the first time ever in any Crusader Kings timelapse that Elrang has not only... I mean, it's one thing for a character who is quote-unquote immortal to survive, because how many times do you see it in CK2 where Vivek would get assassinated or something silly like that, you know? Dungeon Master in my own mod, getting killed non-stop. The man was immortal. He was marked as busy. He had so many flags stopping people interacting with him. And still, if the game went on long enough, the game would just find a way to make these characters disappear. The fact that Elrang has survived for another 180 years, and not only has survived another 180 years, but has stuck to his guns and come out even cooler. A raider, the champion of Namira. I just don't... Oh, maybe that is Elrang's son. Shit, my bad. I thought that Elrang was strong, but no, he is beautiful. Maybe there was a way. I mean, it's always possible he could have inherited it from his royal father, but yeah. Okay, so it is possible. You know what? I might even poke into the save and have a look quick. See if he is Elrang's real son. Oh, well, the saves are compressed. You know what? Don't worry about it. It's a mystery that I'm happy to keep mysterious as far as I'm concerned. There is no risk of Hell's Elf Boy dying out. Thank you for joining me on a 50-episode adventure here in Crusader Kings 2. Crusader Kings 3. Sorry, my bad. Force a Habit. It's been a great experience. I've had genuinely a lot of fun with this. I was never able to really get into CK3, and now I'm leaving the series wanting to play more. So if you ever need any convincing that Elder Kings 2 is worth a go, I mean, take it from someone who was 6,000 hours in CK2 who didn't want to play CK3, who now wants to play CK3. Could there be a better review than that? I don't know. But it's definitely an incredible experience they've done here. And I'm excited just to dive in and see what else there is. We've played a very small facet of an enormous experience, and I think I'm going to have a lot of fun with it. Thank you for joining me. Crusader Kings 3 will be back on the channel for sure. It's probably a mainstay on rotation. It'll go between some other games, and I'm sure it'll come back sooner rather than later. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you all whenever. Take a look at the save down in the description. Assuming you can get it to work.